are we live? God, I'm so... you know what? I'm you today. I'm wearing the light-colored thing that then throws the white balance off, and my Cuban complexion is messing with the camera and everything else.
Well, you wanted to rep Rob Lowe style.
Home field?
Yeah, just
the
generic.
I did. I do. I love the generic home field stuff.
I know you do.
It's how I rep. Anyway, now we got... All right, we're live, so we can get this thing going. Let's podcast on location alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovies. We are not inside Eford Studios today. We're actually just a couple blocks down the way from Eford Studio at Longleaf Swine. Our friends Longleaf Swine were here on the last day of their Thanksgiving ordering window. Today's the day. So if you want to order anything from Longleaf Swine for Thanksgiving, it's literally right in front of you, Joe. Today's the day to do it. I don't know if you can rip it off the pillar, but it is what it is. Can you see that?
Yeah, it's like a glare.
Yeah, well, while you're reading that, when we do things from Longleaf Swine, I always start the show with the piggyback, which is the pickle juice and the Evan Williams. Anyway, vamp while I'm drinking here.
There's turkey, there's barbecue, brisket. Their brisket is amazing. Sides, cornbread, collard greens, esquites, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, roasted sweet potatoes, slaw, more cornbread, gravy, and cranberry sauce, which I'm going to take is going to be the can-like, gelatin-like substance, not that fresh nature stuff. Give me the jiggle.
If it don't jiggle, I don't want it. It's that simple. Those are rules to live by. Just like never trust a big butt and a smile.
That's right.
While we're here at Longleaf, we actually have some OG listeners that are here already. While we are here, we are giving away a pair of Canes tickets. This is a Joe Giglio production. You tell me how this works. You got raffle tickets and everything. What do we got going on here?
I do.
So how does it work? Is it just here on location today? You got to show up to sign up for these?
Yeah. You got to come and support the Longleaf Swine.
And on top
and then we have tickets. Now, it's not for one game, though. This is the key part.
Okay.
It's a Tuesday or a Thursday of your choice in December. How does that sound? That sounds like a big win to me. So come on down, Edenton and Person. There's always parking on Edenton. Come check us out. Have an unbelievable lunch. We're at the Longleaf Swine today, and you can get yourself some Hurricanes tickets. Did you like my analog promotion?
I did.
With the message board?
The little reader board.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I was going to get a 7.8% double IPA for $10 off that board, or I was being told tickets are for sale.
Oh, okay.
A lot of breweries do that.
Okay.
A lot of breweries do that. Perfect. Including our friends at Trophy. They do that as well. So we've got, since we're live on YouTube today, those who are watching, just so you know, we got Wes Durham, ACC Network, ESPN. He's going to drop by to talk about a little triangle good football, plus an ACC check-in. It's early returns, but it's pretty obvious that Duke and Carolina are the two best teams in the ACC. I'm curious who he thinks can knock one of those, who could surprise one of those teams winning the regular season with unbalanced schedules and everything else. Plus, we'll have some leftovers on the college football playoff rankings, which came out last night, which we will get to in a second, because it's not the rankings that have people pissed off. It's what a coach had to say about the college football playoff versus a conference championship. But before we start, we have some corrections and clarifications, Joe.
All mixed up, you don't know what to do. I guess we'll clarify and correct something or two. Because you know what, Joe is not the first or the last. They've got wrong in the past.
What was that stuff called? The whiteout?
The whiteout tape. We're going to turn the entire...
youths have no idea what that is.
None. And we're going to turn the entire show to one big jingle.
We already did that.
That's true. That was yesterday. All right, so corrections and clarifications. This is more of a clarification. Yesterday, we told you about how it was a bad week to be a coach of an FBS team, that the mascot was an owl. We had 4 coaches fired so far this season, all group of 5 coaches, and they all happen to be coaching at a school where the owl is a mascot. So Stan Drayton out with the Temple Owls. Shout out to Everett Withers. Temple is now the flagship of Philadelphia. Tom Herman out at FAU. The Owls. Shout out to Boca Raton. Amusingly enough, both those teams played this past weekend in an OT thriller, 16-19 or whatever it was. Both coaches are fired. Meanwhile, Mac Bloomgren out as the Rice Owls football coach. And then Brian Bohannon at Kennesaw State, he was canned. I said yesterday, after we found out that Biff and his cutoff tees were told to pack it up and leave, that, man, Is there some sort of like owl connection to the Charlotte 49ers I wasn't aware of? Because that breaks the streak. Well, Joe, it turns out there is. This is where we get into the clarification. We did get a call from our resident 49er man, Alex. He actually had left a voicemail. And he texts me yesterday. And he says to me, do you want your mind blown? I was like, sure. What is this? What are we getting at here? Until 1965, Charlotte College, the forerunner for UNC Charlotte, were the Owls. Mind blown, folks. Mind blown.
That's some Cosa Nostra.
It really is. So this is actually the logo.
What was
from
that
the
Nick Cage
Charlotte
movie?
What was it?
Where they were hiding secrets in the Constitution. And
Oh,
the
that
Declaration
was
of Independence?
hidden. Oh, geez, what was the name of that movie? It's like there's treasure at the bottom of the Declaration
Hidden
of
treasure,
Independence.
buried
Hidden-
treasure,
I think it was National Treasure.
national treasure.
We finally got
there.
to
We
it.
go.
Anyway, that's the logo, by the way, for the Charlotte College Owls from back in the day. And then we also had another listener reach out to us via Instagram, and he sent us.
Are you sure that wasn't the drunken owl?
It was not the drunk owl.
Go back.
It was not the drunk owl. I already deleted it. I was not the drunk owl. But yeah, this was sent to us by a listener. The 49ers nickname was chosen in recognition of the importance of the year 1949 in the history of the university. UNC Charlotte, which began as an off-campus center for the University of North Carolina, would have ceased to have existed back in 1949 had Bonnie Cone and her supporters not convinced the NC legislature that Charlotte needed a permanent institution of higher learning. Charlotte College was established that year with the nickname Owls in homage to the college's beginning as a night school. So,
Oh, I get it.
see what they did there? All that being said, if you were the coach of an Owl team, it's a wrap for you. Now I'm curious if we're going to have any more Owls. Speaking of Biff, this was also sent to me. Following this from Cameron Williams, who's a staff reporter for the Charlotte Post, covers the 49ers. Following his dismissal, Biff Poggi rolled up to practice this morning. And this is the, I guess he's just looking for love and recognition. And, hey, man, I got fired, but come and love on me. So there you go. Biff,
He wanted to say goodbye.
with full sleeves, having an opportunity to say goodbye
Oh,
after he got canned. So that is your corrections and clarification.
All mixed up, you don't know what to do. I guess we'll clarify and correct something or two. Cause you know what, Joe is not the first or the last. Thing they've got wrong in the past.
I would actually like that graphic more if you misspelled something in
That would be
either
funny.
corrections or clarification.
That'd be funny. Kyle, yes. National. Excuse me. National treasure. The Knicks changed.
Why do you look like you're in a cave and I look like I'm
It's because I chose the
sun
wrong.
running right
I
now?
chose the wrong outfit. I have a hat on, and it's also my complexion too. From Paul, it got late early for coaches of nocturnal birds. Yes, very, very good point. From James, so there are rumors that Ray Lewis is a candidate for the FAU job. Dion effect continues. Yeah, I had seen that report that Ray Lewis is a front runner for that job at FAU. We'll see. If
you
it
want me to
actually
bring
happens.
up that point right now?
Just go ahead.
I cannot fucking wait until Deion Sanders gets the Cowboys job.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
And I can just tell everyone how right I was about Deion from the absolute jump.
This was from awful announcing, but they called Deion Sanders Cowboys coaching rumors their Super Bowl. It's what I mean. If you think about it, it combines the two things they are obsessed with right now: the Cowboys and all things Cowboys.
It's fair.
And if only Aaron Rodgers, because things are looking bad for Aaron Rodgers. After a report came out from Diana Rossini that Woody Johnson wanted to bench him after the Denver game. I'm
They
sure
don't even have a backup. Oh, they have Tyrod Taylor.
they do have Taylor, perennial backup. The only thing that would make ESPN explode is if Deion leaves Colorado to be the head coach of the Cowboys and they go out and get Aaron Rodgers to back up Dak Prescott. It's the only thing that would make everything even better. Even better.
We might as well spin this forward. If you were the Panthers, would you trade your number one pick, your first round pick, for Dak Prescott?
No.
Interesting.
Not for a guy who gets hurt. No way. Quarterback. The thing about the Panthers, and you know what? You ruined it. I put in it's 100% Panther free guarantee, Joe. It's 100% Panther guarantee that you broke. How
It's
dare
not me,
you?
but I would trade for him. You have to separate the quarterback from the team, no?
No. What you need to separate is the Panthers need a quarterback. They don't. They have other things they have to fix right now. No. You can get a replacement level quarterback right now. That's not going to cost you a shit ton of money. That's what I'm getting at. The Panthers have so many other needs, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and healthy, that quarterback is the least of your concerns right now. They need playmakers. They need defense. They don't need a quarterback that you're
If you were
going to
the
pin your hopes
Giants,
on.
would you trade your number 1 pick for Dak Prescott?
That I'd be willing to listen to.
I think I would.
That I'd be willing to listen to. So the college football playoff rankings came out last night. And
Who am I going to be mad about? What am I? You got to tell me. Direct me here.
I'm looking at the bracket projection. You've got Oregon number 1. Nobody's going to be mad about that. Texas number 2. Although there are some in the SEC that are mad that Texas, with 1 loss, by having no real good wins, is ahead of a bunch of teams like Georgia, who have good wins
And beat them.
but 2 losses are in that situation. Miami dropped in the rankings, but still stays at number 3, despite the fact that Alabama moved up. Miami didn't play anybody. Alabama crushes, I think, Mercer this past weekend, and they ended up moving up in the rankings. The funny thing is, the conversation really isn't about the rankings themselves, where you got Oregon, Texas, Miami, and then Boise State. And then the rest of the field is you got your Indiana Ole Miss game, you got Penn State, Georgia, you got Notre Dame, Alabama, and then Ohio State, BYU. You got SMU as a team that has an opportunity to get in there if they beat Miami in the ACC championship game. The question will be if Miami, as a 2-loss ACC team, gets to stick around as a second ACC squad. So right now, the thing that has people really, really worked up is that SEC logjam that we've referenced a couple of times this week. And Lane Kiffin got the people going because that's what Lane Kiffin does. Lane Kiffin on Monday, during his Monday press on his usual weekly press availability, said, quote, "I've talked to other coaches, so I'll just kind of give you the feeling from other coaches that, they don't want to be in it. The SEC championship game is what he's referencing. The reward to get a bye in the playoff versus the risk to get knocked out completely. I mean, that's a real big risk just to get a bye. So I think it's ended up being very unique. It's a unique situation of all postseason sports. The way that the system is set up, how could you go to the SEC championship game and get knocked out of the college football playoff race? If you don't go, you're in." That's in reference to the logjam that's taking place right now. So to boil this down to its most distilled essence, what Lane Kiffin is advocating is that it's much better. You're in much better position to skip on the conference championship game and make the college football playoff than it is to play for a conference title. Now, people are upset, this whole well, there's value to a conference championship. And this gets back to something, Joe, that I referenced earlier in the week. The college football folks are finally coming around to the realization that how we talk about this expanded college football playoff is not all that dissimilar to how we talk about the NCAA tournament. And what do we know? And what do we know damn well about the ACC tournament or any other college basketball conference tournament? If you are a top seed, if you are a team that's already in, a Duke, a Carolina, Roy Williams famously calling the ACC championship or the ACC tournament a cocktail party. You don't need to go out and win it because you're already in. There's arguments about, well, you playing these games, you're tired. If you lose, it hurts you, blah, 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 blah. Now, if you're state, well, then, yeah, man, you need to win the ACC tournament in order to make the AC to make the NCAA tournament. So now we're back into that math again for the college football playoff. What's better for me, making it to the championship game or sitting it out, letting them fight, and then we reap the benefit of not having played?
And just so you know, the SEC tiebreaker is the same as the ACC tiebreaker.
Yeah.
They're going to have a group record, but if you don't play each other, then that's not affected.
Mm-hmm.
So then it gets down to the conference, the combined record of their conference opponents. So like Vanderbilt's win over Alabama or Florida beating LSU is going to lift up somebody and put them in that game when they don't want to be in that game.
Yeah.
And I think Lane Kiffin is the exact person to express this thought because Ole Miss, not the brand of Alabama or Georgia.
No.
I said this 2 weeks ago. I'll keep saying it. They're in danger of making that game and losing and getting knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that coming from 9 million miles away. I want to get back to what Kirby Smart asked, though.
Yeah.
What is the committee looking at? I'm being serious.
Sure.
You're trying to defend the committee and saying they're watching.
Yeah, I think
I'm telling you, there's not a single
iPads.
chance.
Joe, they all have iPads that get condensed games.
I'm telling
They
you,
all get to watch, man.
There's not a single chance. Because if you watch these teams play,
Yeah.
ain't no way. You got Penn State at 4, Indiana at 5, and Notre Dame at 6. Ain't no way.
Now, are you ready for the most galaxy brain take of the
I think
night?
South Carolina is better than all 3 of those
Yeah,
teams.
you're high on the chickens, man. You're high on the chickens. Are you ready for the most galaxy brain take that came out of last night? Not Lane Kiffin, because I actually agree with Lane Kiffin and what he's talking about, how everything's set up. You know, the most galaxy brain take came out with Joey Galloway talking about Indiana and whether or not they should start their quarterback. Here is Joey Galloway on ESPN. This is from Awful Announcing. And his galaxy brain thought on whether or not Curtis Rourke should play against Ohio State.
They can't go any higher.
They are behind a one-loss
They have a chance to go on the road and prove what they are. Now, honestly, if we believe in what our metrics are saying, if I'm Indiana, I don't know if I'm playing Rourke against Ohio State. We've seen what happened to Florida State last year, Jordan Travis. What could keep Indiana out of this? Getting their quarterback hurt. We've seen it happen to Florida State last year, having not played anybody.
Or losing by 30.
If you look at 3, 4, and 5, Texas, Penn State, and Indiana, they literally have played nobody between all 3 teams. The toughest team in that is Vandy. So a lot of this that we're looking at is eye test because Boog, when you look at the resumes of 3, 4, and 5, it brings back the idea of let me not play anybody and be undefeated.
Yeah.
And be in a good position.
I agree with
because
that.
The
Yeah.
eye test is going to matter because 3, 4, 5 have played nobody, and that includes Indiana.
So there you go. There's Joey
Notre
Galloway.
Dame's played nobody.
Well, they're Notre Dame. It's the name brand thing.
Oh, okay.
As always, the name brand thing always comes through. If you're Indiana and you lose to Ohio State with or without your quarterback, Indiana's probably out, right?
I think they could lose close and still get in.
Lose close. Okay. Maybe.
Listen, they expanded this thing and they tried to do the whole you called this from the jump though. You said the SEC and Big Ten will use the results no matter what.
No, okay.
To say, hey, we're supposed to have guaranteed spots.
Yes.
They just didn't realize they'd be cannibalizing each other.
Yes. I think, well, that's classic college football, by the way. That's classic college football leadership that they go, it will never affect me. Somewhere Greg Sankey is absolutely livid that the Big Ten has the amount of schools that are currently in the projections for the college football playoff, and they're not dealing with a logjam that they're dealing with. So, yes, to my point, this is all a setup for the Big Ten and the SEC to get what ultimately they want.
Is that 5?
4.
5 each?
4 each.
Well, they're going to get 4 each this time.
But not how they want it, because they get the 4 automatic. They expand it. They're going to expand it from 12 to 14,
right? Probably.
And then they can also get the at-larges as well.
No, they're going to want 5 each.
I'll see about that. We'll see about that.
Housekeeping.
Big thanks to Inovana for sponsoring housekeeping. You can check them out online at inovana.com. Green Cleaning Solutions.
If you have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it green.
I don't hear anything,
with
Joe.
Inovana.
Did you play a jingle?
I did play a jingle. Did you
I don't
not
hear it.
You don't hear it? That's weird. It came through my headphones, so it's going through StreamYard, so it should be fine. So,
Perfect.
I know why. I know what that is, but I'm not going to explain it. Either way, what I can explain is that Two Roosters is delicious. I can't explain that Two Roosters is so freaking delicious that I'm willing to power through on that lactose intolerance for things like the Slave and Sunday Joe. Join me in the power through crew and enjoy the Two Roosters. TwoRoosters.com. Get it at the arena. The Hurricanes
Right down the street, home base.
Yeah,
all in person.
Hurricanes are on the road the next couple of days, but when they come back, go check out the Slave and Sunday. But if you can't wait and you want your ice cream right now, yes, heck, make it a date night. Come out to Longleaf and then go to Two Roosters right down the way. That's what it's all about. Big thanks to our friends at Hometown Realty. Check them out online at myhtr.com. Buy and sell with confidence. Do not get duped by these guaranteed offers. These guaranteed offers sound really easy peasy, but the reason why they're easy is because they're not giving you the full value of your home. They just want you to take it and walk away. Oh, no, it's no. When you're working with experts, it won't be a hassle. And that's where Hometown Realty comes in. Check them out online at myhtr.com. So big thanks to Whitaker and Hamer as well. Check them out online, wh.lawyer, attorneys and counselors at law. They can help you with small legal matters like a small business, contracts, etc. Or let's say you're constantly in traffic violation hell like Joe Giglio. They can handle that as well. So check out Whitaker and Hamer, WH.lawyer. Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Oh, look at that Apex High School shirt that Wes Durham is rocking right now. The peak of great athletics.
Those are fighting words.
I mean,
Shout out to Scott Ferguson, the AD. Dropped me some gear.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got invited to the Enloe football banquet
To
for tomorrow.
speak, keynote speaker.
No, not to be a keynote speaker, but just to kind of, as a friend of the program for having made the playoffs for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Enloe Eagles, man. How'd Apex do this year in football? Do you know?
I don't know. Not well. Not well.
Okay.
Rebuilding year. It's a rebuilding year.
Well, as long as their mascot's not an owl, they should be fine. Everybody there should be fine.
Unbelievable. How about that note? If you're an owl, you lost your job.
Now you weren't logged on just yet, but our Charlotte friends pointed out that UNC Charlotte, before they became UNC Charlotte, they were Charlotte College. Their mascot was
an owl.
Yeah. That's unbelievable, Wes.
It is.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Well, Stan Drayton, how about this? Stan Drayton's first game at Temple was against Mike Elko in his first game at Duke.
Oh, geez. Oh, that's okay. Yeah. Okay.
Stan Drayton's done in less than 3 in Philadelphia, is what I'm getting at. Temple waits for no man, Giglio. No man.
Even getting through year 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm checking the arrest records on that one. Like, I don't know. Who does Charlotte think they are?
The thing is, it's all the group of 5 coaches that are getting got. We're not going to see this at the Power 5 or the Power 4.
Well, because they gotta save their money for the house. Save their money for the settlements and the rev share.
I think we're going to see this affected in the ACC. I mean, obviously, we're seeing this at some SEC schools like Oklahoma and at Florida. Now, speaking of the SEC, to bring you into the conversation with the college football playoff rankings.
Yes.
Look, man, I think we're all kind of understanding that the SEC and the Big Ten are setting up all these conversation points about these rankings and how it all settle out to get what they want, and that is to get the automatic bids. Lane Kiffin talking about, hey, man, is it really worth it to go to a conference championship game instead of, going at the potential of getting knocked out and not making the playoff? The calculus has changed. All this money is being spent on these football programs not to win an SEC title. It's to make the playoff and get your give yourself. You muted me.
Why are you Mike 2?
Because I'm over here today. See, green.
You're
purple.
never Mike 2.
Green, purple. So thank you for coughing straight into the microphone.
I thought I was doing the right thing.
No, good effort. Good effort.
Solid.
Wes, I've never been Mike 1 in my life. Even when he's not on, out of respect for him, I'm Mike 2. That means I get to use the robot voice. I'm not going to touch that.
Do you want to have a meeting?
Let's have a meeting.
Unbelievable. I've come into the middle of Toy Story, the radio version.
You really have. So back to what we were talking about, Wes. This is when we go straight live, baby. This is what you get.
I get it.
So we're gonna get the automatic bids this offseason, are we not? I mean, I feel like we're speed running to what the Big Ten and the SEC want, and guys like Lane Kiffin are just setting it up that way.
And Greg Sankey talking about the team that plays in the conference championship game but doesn't win deserves to go, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that rhetoric, this started a couple of weeks ago. And it coincides with, a block of get up in July, day 1 of the SEC kickoff. Feinbaum saying 5 teams are going to go. I mean, it all kind of eventually, layers itself as the season goes on. I think what's interesting in this is that Ohio State and Indiana, now we're talking about what the margin's going to be. And Joey Galloway's comment about, okay, is Nathan Rourke going to play because Florida State lost their quarterback against North Alabama last year? I mean, that kind of stuff right now is just state fair stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous to say, and all you're doing is just trying to muddy the water a little bit. And we still, last night's the first time that I felt like we kind of got some semblance of what this committee's thinking, right? Yeah. It takes a couple of weeks. Then you get a committee personality, for lack of a better term. And I'm fascinated this weekend about 2 things. One, Notre Dame beat Virginia and went up 2 spots. SMU plays Virginia Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at SMU remaining strength of schedule rank, there are only 4 schools ahead of SMU in the remaining strength of schedule rank. And those 4 are Oregon, Texas, Indiana, and Alabama. Those are the only 4 schools ahead of SMU in the remaining strength of schedule. So I guess the question is now, if SMU goes to Charlotte, which they will if they get a win on Saturday, and they beat Cal, regardless of what happens against Miami, are they going to be in the neighborhood to take a second bid from the ACC if they lose to Miami in the championship game? I think the answer is no. Right, Giglio? Even if they were to go, if they go 11-2 through 13 games, and their only loss, let's say, is a close loss to BYU, 3 points, and then a close loss to Miami and Charlotte in the championship game, are they not going to go to the college football playoff? And I think the answer is yes, and I don't think that's right. I don't think it's right and even if we expanded to 16, could you guarantee me that? And the answer to that is no, because the run on this is going to be for the Big Ten and the SEC every year. And at this rate, we don't have a big sample size to measure it by, but it feels like if Indiana weren't in this mix, would we be talking about another SEC team? Probably so. Would we be talking about another Big Ten team? Probably so. That's not like the NCAA basketball tournament, guys.
Yeah.
That's not like the NCAA basketball tournament at all, and that's the concept that was sold when we did this.
It's interesting, and I said this earlier in the week, and this will transition us to college basketball. I think the college football people are so used to their usual talking points when differentiating squads, hypotheticals. I think this team could beat this team in a neutral site, all this other kind of stuff, right?
There's a lot of I thinks in football.
The whole entire infrastructure is built on what if.
Right.
And stupid arguments. My conference can beat your conference, all that kind of stuff, right? But when you expanded, it worked for the BCS, right? It worked for the college football playoff first iteration with 4 schools. But now that you've expanded it out to this much, it starts to sound a hell of a lot like Dog's got takes. It starts to sound a hell of a lot like
that dog wants Tennessee in
right now. That dog wants Bama.
Smokey needs to be in.
So the point is that when I start
left out,
when I start seeing people parse Texas versus Miami, or even Miami versus SMU,
right,
and the argument becomes what I hear Giglio preaching every freaking February and early March, it's who you beat, right? Who you beat matters. And now suddenly I'm seeing these conversations take place about picking apart Texas's schedule, picking apart Ohio or, the Big Ten schedule. And I don't think the college football folks are used to this.
No,
they
they're
really
not.
don't know how to talk about it.
Well, here's the other thing, too. No offense, but the FCS game's got to go. It's got to go.
Yes.
It's got to go. I mean, I'm sorry. Alabama Mercer this weekend, Clemson playing Citadel, Florida State, even though they're not in it, playing Charleston Southern. I'll even throw my alma mater in there. I mean, Elon benefits financially from playing Duke or Wake Forest or whoever. Sorry, those games got to go. Those are the games that have to be moved. And I got an idea. How about make them a spring game? Hey, there's an original thought.
No, it's a preseason game.
Preseason game.
August.
Yeah,
Second week of August.
Well, we're going to be playing in week 0 anyway, Giglio. Everybody's going to play in week 0 in 2 years. But I think we're learning as we go here. We can't act like we're the experts in year 1 of this thing. Mm-hmm. Nobody can. And yet we're all trying to sort out what's going to happen here. Look, I could make a case that we're going to get 2-3 years into this before we go to 16, and we're going to find out that the championship games aren't really beneficial. Lane Kiffin's already trying to tell you the championship games aren't beneficial.
Yeah, he's already trying to tell you that.
And if we don't start listening to the coaches, Giglio, I think we're making a mistake too, by the way. That's just my opinion.
I think you're right in that we don't know what we're doing, but only in the sense that this is the perfect storm. Normally, it's November 20th. You and I and Joe, we pick the other Joe. We'll pick somebody else. Smokey's brother over here barking. We know who's supposed to win the national championship or who is going to win the national championship in football. I don't have a single clue.
That's true.
Oregon, sure. They just struggled at Wisconsin. right? And I think they're a good team, and maybe Dan Lanning really is that guy. I don't know, but I don't feel like they're a war machine like any of Saban's teams or Georgia last year or Michigan.
I'm going to go back.
Year.
I want to go back to what you said last winter. The guy that was going to win this thing every year retired.
Yeah.
Because
in this format,
format, that guy would have won a lot of.
I mean, it would take a miracle to beat him anyway, but in this format, no way.
Yeah, totally.
No, and we thought Georgia would be that.
Well, and in all honesty,
they don't look like it.
If the offensive line were better and the quarterback played better, they would be.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia to me is really easy to. I mean, that's a simplified thing. Like it's quarterback play to me.
It is.
All right, one last football point. Clemson's still hanging around.
Yeah, kind of
hanging around. Mathematically, still in this equation for the ACC championship.
Got to have a lot of stuff happen, though.
I mean, Miami's got to lose again. That's the biggest thing. I mean, but the thing is, Miami's defense. The opposite issue exists for Miami, right? Quarterback play isn't necessarily the problem for Miami. Cam Ward can win you a game if he needs to.
True.
It's Miami's defense that continues to be a problem under Mario Cristobal. So I don't think it's necessarily a given that they're gonna take this thing into Charlotte.
And I agree with you on this. I think I don't worry about Saturday. It's the next Saturday because Kyle McCord's slinging it indoors in Central New York against Miami. Whether or not Miami's interested in being there, and Kyle McCord throwing it on the perimeter like he can, and he's already shown you he'll throw it 60 times in a game.
Yeah.
I mean, he threw it 60 times in the ball game against Pitt. So for them to go out there and, to think Miami's going to cruise to Syracuse and walk off on Fran Brown, that's going to be one of the most difficult games left of the teams that could potentially go to the college football playoff, I believe, of the ones you're not thinking about, my opinion.
Fran needs to shower too, so let's hope.
Well, he did. He got a win at Cal, so he was able to take a shower after the game, hopefully, before he got on the plane.
Big time.
Thankfully, he deserves soap.
Yeah.
Duke and North Carolina deserve all the soap in college basketball right now.
Yeah.
So I know it's early. We've only had a handful of games.
Yeah, but we've already cast some guys we didn't need to cast.
So there's two thoughts that I have.
Okay.
Because as Joe already referenced, it's getting late early for some.
It is getting late early, Giglio. Giglio's right.
Yeah, but let's start with the good before we get to the. Oh, geez, are we doing this again?
Okay.
It's pretty obvious in the early run that Duke and Carolina are the two best teams in the ACC.
Yes, although I would put Pitt not far behind those two.
There we go.
So,
give my guy
that's where I was going with this.
Yeah.
If we establish that talent-wise, both Duke and North Carolina are atop the league, who is that third team in the ACC that can surprise them, mix it up, and break up what I think is going to be a 1-2 finish atop the ACC standings?
Right now, I would put Pitt there.
Mm-hmm.
Say the name I want to hear.
I want to hear more or see more from Notre Dame.
Okay.
Good coach.
Okay.
Not the one I was thinking of.
And I haven't watched them play this week, and I didn't watch the Xavier game. I'm a little concerned about the Deeks. I didn't like the way that number looked.
It's close. You're on the Skip Prosser coaching tree.
Oh, you mean Louisville?
I think Louisville's.
Yeah, okay, but I get you. And game 2 was Tennessee. Okay, I'll give you the out card on your second game ever was Tennessee.
Yeah,
and I'm going to see Louisville week after next in the SEC Challenge against Ole Miss. That's a game.
I'm only here to talk about Ole Miss basketball.
No,
nothing else.
No, I want to see Louisville in that game do something for me.
Okay.
Louisville. Look, I'm concerned. Let me put it to you this way. I think Giglio, are you concerned about the ACC SEC Challenge?
No,
you're not.
I'm in Jovius mode of I don't whatever you show me in November, cool. But you got to give these teams some time, especially a Louisville, a State,
even Duke.
Duke's going to need a little.
Yeah, I'll say this. My concern about Duke is that their maturity curve has to be navigated, and it has to be navigated by late December.
Yes. So as we referenced it last week when they lost to Kentucky, if you're a video gamer, you're familiar with the term speed run. And that's essentially what Duke is going to have to do with Cooper Flagg and the other two freshmen, specifically Cooper Flagg. They're going to have to speedrun this. And I mean, I know you have to distill these things into a moment, but like to this idea that Cooper Flagg and the late game turnovers, like, well, here we go. It's like the guy was a pretty dominant force for the other
36 minutes of the game,
37 minutes of the game, right? So that's something he's going to learn from. And you can easily look at John Shire in his post-game press conference and think, he's just, blowing sunshine. Like, no, I think he's handling it the way he needs to. And that is to just kind of love up this team and tell him, hey, man, this is a growth period for you. And if you see Kentucky again, I like their chances.
Maybe earmuffs for Wes.
Uh-oh.
Did you legitimately see what happened? That Cooper Flagg's story, the original headline, the origin story, referenced him as a unicorn.
Yeah.
That was the headline.
Yeah.
It's subsequently been changed to talk about the town and the team that forged the legend of Cooper Flagg.
Interesting. What's your theory behind that?
I don't know if Duke's behind it.
Nah, my understanding.
Cooper Flagg's people are behind it.
I think my understanding is that there are Cooper Flagg's people
and
Cooper's
people.
And then there's two different things. They are not necessarily working in concert. So that's my understanding.
Wes, just in case you don't know what I'm talking about, Baxter Holmes wrote this really long story about Cooper Flagg. It's like this origin story. And I said before that game, that story is doing him no favors.
Right.
No favors. We don't need stories like that. Okay.
No, he's going to get plenty of attention. He's plenty of attention. He doesn't need the stories and the docs to do it, right?
Yeah, and I like the Brian Scalabrine part of it. Mm-hmm. Like, here's an NBA guy explaining, through his lens, this is the skill set of Flagg, and this is why people are talking about him.
Right.
Like, to make it sound like he was some sort of otherworldly talent, and which is I've been warning against people this entire time.
Yeah.
He's not Zion Williamson.
Correct.
Yeah. That doesn't mean he can't have success, but you have to adjust your own expectations for who he is.
But we can all agree he is better than Nick Kaner-Medley, the last player from Maine we saw in the ACC.
Great pull.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm here for that, Giglio. That's all I'm here for.
Hey, man, I like the loss for him. I actually like the loss for him.
Yeah.
So you saw State on Monday night.
He was there.
I did.
Comforting to hear his voice. Turn the TV on.
Thank you.
Because
You're very kind.
Wes is a complete sicko because he goes Saturday ACC football, Sunday Falcons football, but I'm not done.
Where Bo Nix looked like John Elway, but we'll move on. Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
But no, Wes ain't done.
Monday night, baby.
I need the triple header, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I need NC State Colgate in my life.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I like Kevin's team.
Sure.
I like him going forward. I want to see Mike James healthy and playing in the lineup, to be honest. I give Kevin a lot of credit. I'll give K. Rich and Steve Snell and Brett Nelson a lot of credit. They're the mixture of Middlebrooks and Huntley Hatfield together. I'm curious what it'll look like together, but I like the way they switch them out during games.
He's not going to play them together.
I know he's not. He alluded the other night in our visit he might, but I don't know how that looks. I will tell you this, though. Marcus Hill is going to be a handful in this league because of his ability to physically get in the middle of people's business on the dribble. That's going to make NC State a threat.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a different kind of deal. And Michael O'Connell, you can't say enough about the maturity level and the leadership factor he's going to bring to the table.
Yeah. Were you able to work in that Dontrez Styles is actually a Carolina transfer? Or were you on the Kevin side of the world where he's like,
Georgetown transfer? No, I didn't do that. But I did reference to our production crew the other night. You'll appreciate this, that Dontrez Styles is the new 21st century version of Bones McKinney without the war. And nobody knew what I was talking about.
Without the war.
No, like he played for both. See?
Yeah, he played for State. He went to the war. He came back and he played at Carolina and took them to a Final Four where they lost to Foothills Curling and Oklahoma A&M.
Oh, geez.
And then he coached at Wake Forest, and everybody went.
Yeah.
And they said, and what was his name again? Doesn't matter.
all the could have beens. I know, like we'll say goodbye on this. Joe had sent me the latest Theo Pinson podcast where they talked to Dennis Smith Jr.
I haven't seen it. I watched the Roy Theo Pinson podcast, which was amazing.
That was good. That was
amazing.
But I guess he was supposed to go to Duke now, or he wanted to go to Duke. Is that the latest?
There's a lot of things that get said on Theo's podcast that never gets said to anybody else.
A lot of elusive moments with Dennis.
Yeah. Oh well, it's fine.
Sun running, baby.
Hey, let's put it this way, Joe. It felt like that when he was talking about the Duke thing, it kind of brought to mind maybe there was a reason he went for the dunk after the Hornet night in Cameron.
Once I saw that clip, I thought to myself, all right.
Now the dunk makes sense.
The dunk makes so much more sense.
Yeah, there we go.
And
and that was his best game of the year.
And because it didn't count twice over, it counts. It's a double negative. The dunk itself didn't count because it happened after regulation.
Right.
But because the game itself doesn't count, the win doesn't count. It was vacated. The double negative makes it so that the dunk counts. So
that's it.
We'll always have that dunk. Wes, we appreciate the time as always. You're a very, very busy man. We appreciate your time. We will talk to you later.
The peak of great athletics, Joe. Don't forget.
I love that. I love that. We'll talk to you later, Wes.
See you guys. Be well. Take care.
They keep playing Sin Almost Fire. I'm not going to be able to hit golf balls down the road.
They're playing this. They were playing a little Toto earlier. I mean, playing all
I feel that in my blown.
Big thanks to Mosquito Authority, Pest Authority. Check them out online at bugsbite.com. You can bundle and save. I know you're not thinking about mosquitoes right now because it's mid to late November. I get that. But it's not too early to start thinking about how you're going to attack those mosquitoes next year. We're talking misting systems, all that fun stuff. It's all at Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority. Check them out online at bugsbite.com. Our guy Mitch is here. He's rocking that rowback, Joe. We're spreading the good word of the rowback.
We are.
So you can go to rowback.com right now. Use that promo code OG20. Is the sale still going on?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Pre-Black Friday.
Pre-Black Friday.
Yeah.
So you might want to save the promo code for something else.
Yeah,
In
because
the
State
meantime-
and Carolina stuff is coming out in the spring, actually in 25.
So in the meantime, go to the website, take advantage of the sale.
Yeah, because I can only hook so many people up. Shouts to Doug.
Yes.
Shouts to Ben.
Shout out to Doug. And shout out.
Oh, and Julian
To
better get
Julian.
on this program or call the 444 number because we hooked him up.
We did hook him up. We'll get Julie on. We'll get him on. Big thanks to Matt Davis over at State Farm. InsureGarner.com is the website. TheOGinsurance.com. You can go there as well. Or just call him directly because that's how he gets down. 919-779-8277. You can save on your home and auto with our friends at State Farm. He is also, Matt Davis, if you did not know this, he is actually the OG official archival expert.
Yeah.
He has so many interesting tchotchkes in the past.
Well-
Although, shout out to our guy who will remain nameless. We do have some PNC Arena things to add to the museum. I'm very excited about this.
I gave you some good stuff. No, Matt used to work for Raycom, Jefferson Pilot Raycom.
Like back in the day, right?
Yeah, that was his first job.
So that would make a lot of sense as to why he has all that stuff. So again, big thanks to Matt Davis. Check him out. TheOGinsurance.com or call him directly at 919-779-8277. Thanks to our friends over at DraftKings. You can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now, and you can use that promo code OG24. It's so easy. My 13-year-old can do it with my supervision. No, it's funny. So I went to the Canes game on Sunday, right?
Okay.
And Jacob was very adamant that he thought the score was going to be 5-2.
Okay, he was feeling it.
He was feeling it. And he turns over to me and he goes, hey, DraftKings, right? I was like, oh, look at my son listening to the podcast. He's aware of our corporate champions. We appreciate that. He's like, so if I think the game's going to end 5-2, what should you do? I'm like, all right, well, let me open up the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and I'll make that happen for you. It's fine. But understand, I'm the adult here. I'm the one who does it because age and eligibility restrictions apply. So you understand that while you're aware of this, I'm the one who does it. He's like, totally get it. It was a very teachable moment.
Yeah.
Very teachable moment. He's like, got it. But no, the point that I'm making here is that you're thinking lines, you're thinking over-unders.
I'm intimidated.
I don't know what to do. The point is, you can have some fun with this by doing some more offbeat things. Like, I think this is going to be the exact score. Cool. You can do that. When we're talking about the Carolina Hurricanes, Joe, what's the move?
Shots on goal, baby.
Right. You don't have to worry about, they're plus XYZ. No, you know what? I think the Canes are going to have more shots than the other team in the first period. Right?
You can do. Will they have a shot in the first 4 minutes of the game?
I think they will.
You want the easiest money on the planet.
I think they will. I think they will. That's the point, and that's the point that I'm making. So head on over to DraftKings Sportsbook app today. Use that promo code OG24. You use that, new customers will get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. And it goes beyond just things like the NHL or football. Maybe you got some thoughts on NC State, Georgia Tech tomorrow night. That's cool. You can pop on there and do what you want to do. But you got the NBA Cup going on right now, and you can win big getting in on that action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All 30 teams split into these groups every Tuesday and Friday, playing for the right to advance to a single elimination in-season tourney, all culminating in the NBA Cup Championship in Vegas. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use that promo code OG24, bet $5, you get $150 in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. It's time for legal. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball. All right, let's do a little early Hey Joe here. Let's go to the OG Sports phone, shall we? Because we're going to make this entire show out of jingles. Are we not?
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports phone and curse or don't.
We got a text from a 919 number talking about watching NC State win on Monday. Looked good. True test will be soon. Got me thinking, though, this seems to be the roster that Keats has always wanted but never had at State. Run 10 or 11 guys at you, so it'll be interesting to see how a season like that goes for him. Also, makes me realize how good of a job Keats has been doing, quote-unquote, coaching the team he has and not forcing his system onto people who can't run it. With that assessment of what I've seen at NC State so far, the key this year is be depth, is it not? Running the amount of guys he's running out there. We talked about that a little bit with Wes.
Would be good to see Mike James in the lineup. That's one of the key parts.
Yeah.
And then when Wes said it, I said the same thing in the beginning of the year. You won the ACC. You went to the Final Four using two bigs on the floor at the same time.
Yeah.
The way that Kevin sees Middlebrooks and Huntley Hatfield, a.k.a. the airport, is they do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a Modiara situation where you just plug Middlebrooks into the four and make it work. So I would have preferred to see that type of style, but I respect what he's seeing in practice where he says, I'm not putting those two bigs on the floor at the same time. So you got to find a different way to do it. I do think James will be instrumental by the time he gets in there. It'll be another week or two before we see him.
Back to the sports phone.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. This is Jesse from Durham. I'm just calling because I'm listening to the latest episode on Tuesday, the 19th, and I'm giggling to myself and also a little disappointed that the show that used to have their own OG mixtape does not have an OG mixtape 2.0 for all of the jingles that Brian has put together. Maybe we should include that in our OG fans Founders Club swag merch bag. Just a thought. Thanks for the show, guys. Bye.
So you want an OG mixtape of Brian's jingles. I feel like that's something I could do, but I would have to dub a lot of tapes for our Founders Club. I feel like that might just be a special one-off. Maybe what we do is when we have our next birthday bash in May, we actually have an OG mixtape with all of Brian's jingles on it, and that's what we give away. Does that sound like something we could do?
That's what I was trying to say to you.
Okay.
We just need a commercial for it.
Yeah, well, we need somebody with actual editing skills and not my passion for graphic design to do something like that. Serena decided to do her own in-person Hey Joe and go, hey, Joe, do you want Rumple Mints? So you were shot at Adam. We're at Longleaf today, which, by the way, we're here until about, if you're watching on live, we're here until about 2:15, 2:20. We do have Canes tickets to give away.
We do.
Show up, sign the little raffle ticket. You don't have to be here to win it. We'll call you if we draw your name. And, of course, you get to pick your game.
Yeah, that's the bonus.
That's the bonus.
Tuesday or a Thursday in December.
So you were looking at the booze list here at Longleaf.
Menu.
And you were shocked to see Rumple Mints.
It's been so long, man.
I've never had Rumple Mints. I've had Malort. I've had Fernet. I've had
Scope.
Goldschlager. I've had
It's
all
Scope.
those. What's that? It's Scope? Is this basically bartender's mouthwash, essentially?
Yeah.
Because I heard that's what Fernet is. Fernet is bartender's mouthwash. Oh, yeah, this does.
That's all it is, dude.
I feel like I'm going to the dentist. What is this?
Yep.
What's the ABV on this thing, you know?
I don't.
Why would anybody do this? Why? Why?
I'll tell you why.
It's like drinking a candy cane.
It's because when you raided your parents' liquor cabinet,
Yeah.
you were like, man, that scotch tastes like shit.
Ah,
That vodka looks like it should be water, but it doesn't taste like water.
no.
But then you would get into the Rumplemans and or the Goldschlager, and you'd be like, ooh,
No.
Goldschlager tasted like Big Red,
No.
and Rumplemans taste like Scope.
Speaking of drinking things that you probably shouldn't be drinking, I think you found this, and this was from our guy Enoch over Nice Price. Somebody found a Coors Light 1996. I'm guessing that this was in honor of the Colorado Rockies, a commemorative bat
first
glass. So drinking an entire limited edition baseball bat Coors Light, it ends badly. Let me turn the volume up on this.
1996 Coors Light baseball bat. Oh boy.
Oh, geez.
Super flat.
Yeah, like I have not watched this yet. Super flat, not surprised. That's the case with the beer. Given the age of that beer and the color of that thing has to taste like sour raisins. Has to. Because I've done this with the Dogfish 120s that have lasted too long. They basically turn into syrup.
Raisin?
They
it's sweeter.
Yeah, it tastes
Okay.
so much sweeter. It tastes like raisin. All right, what do we got here?
Yeah. Yep. That tastes like old raisins. Caramelized mop water.
He goes back for more.
Just drink it.
He drank the whole thing? No, I can't.
Oh, no. Okay, I stopped. I closed it out.
Okay, I can't
I
watch
closed
that.
it out. I'm not watching that either. But that's my people. I would have kept it down. Just saying. I would have kept it down. Let's see here. What else do we have in the? Oh, yes. Let's go to the YouTube here real quick for a variety of different things. Brian from Nice Price needs a statue of him outside your studio. I'll see if I can make a bobblehead. From Brant, also in 04. We've been talking about NC State 2004 because of the TA thing. Jay Davis threw 5 interceptions at Clemson. They still had a chance to win with the ball in their hands at the end of that game. I don't remember that either.
I might need to find Jay Davis.
Poor Jay Davis.
We'll pack there. We'll have pack therapy with
Jay Davis from Kyle Watts. I remember that T-shirt. It said the test was positive on the front, and the back said Chuck Amato is your daddy. The kids don't know the stranglehold that Chuck Amato had on Wolfpack Nation back in the day. Ken, who is here, he wants a Roxy music version of The Bus Driver. Spoiler alert, Brian has provided. We will air it tomorrow. Also from Brant, Shades of Weird Al's Another One Rides the Bus. Yes, that's exactly what happened here on that one. If the Panthers win, from Mike J, if the Panthers win, Andy Reid retires. Matt Canada named Chiefs head coach.
Yep.
There's only one way to make that happen. Only one way. So anyway, if you want to hit us up on the OG Sports phone, you can call 919-444-2211 or You can text us. Of course, you can reach us on the YouTube comments and everything else. We like to keep things local, and joining us in studio is Kayla Shea Menendez, Deputy Director, Durham Sports Commission. As we got some pretty cool local events taking place in the next time frame, the next month.
We do. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming by.
Absolutely. So the Durham Sports Commission, we are a 501c3 organization that was established in 2016. And really our mission is twofold. One, it's driving economic impact, so the recruitment and the retention of regional and national events. But the second part of that is social impact. We understand that everything that we bring to Durham connects to the local community in some way. So the two events that we have coming up do both of those things. And so the Champion Durham Classic that's happening here in the next couple of days, November 21st through 23rd at Hillside High School. It's a high school basketball invitational. Look forward to really showcasing local talent here in the area. And then looking ahead in December is the NAIA Football Championship, and that'll be hosted at Durham County Memorial Stadium on December 21st.
Let's start with the one that's coming up this week with the high school games, the classic. Like you played, and I guess these are things that it's funny. Now that I'm back in the mode of high school sports because of my older son, he's in marching band at Enloe. It takes me back to how excited the kids were to go to events like this and how proud parents were to be at events like this. So in this particular case with this high school basketball invitational, I feel like it's just if you want that warm fuzzy of when you were younger and seeing everybody just happy to be playing sports, an event like this and parents being happy, I got to imagine that this Durham Classic fits that bill.
Oh, it's so much fun. And having been a former athlete here and in the area, I went to Wakefield High School, played basketball there, went on to Western Carolina, but to play ball. But, these are teams that are playing and competing in this event that I also played against, right? As I was kind of growing up in the local area. And so I understand it. I've been there, the excitement to showcase your talent, where your family is coming and, people from different teams. I mean, it's just a lot of fun. And we look forward to an exciting couple of days of basketball.
Do you still have a little bit of the high school pride when you go back to those events? It happens to me, right? Like I went to Cardinal Gibbons and somebody brings up Ravenscroft or something. I'm like, no, we ain't talking Ravenscroft right now.
Oh, yes, absolutely. It does. And some of those key rivalries that we had to growing up at the time, Millbrook was one of those. And so, just good, fun competition.
Yeah, my kids are already doing that now with the whole Enloe thing. They're like, Sanderson?
Right.
Nah, we ain't talking about that.
Oh, I understand.
Or marching band competitions like, Green Hope? Nah, they're not as good as us. It is funny how those things carry over. So obviously these events are taking place and parents will be involved and spectators can go. It's $15 per day. 2 and 3 day ticket packages are available. You can go to DurhamNCSports.com. That's DurhamNCSports.com. To get those tickets. Are there ways that people can help, beyond just going to the event and buying those tickets?
Yes. So we have a One Team One Durham fund, and our One Team One Durham fund helps to offset the rising cost in terms of youth sport participation. And so this fund helps to cover registration fees, equipment, camps, clinics, things like that. We understand, based on the Aspen State of Play 2023 report, on average, it costs about $900 per child for a primary sport to compete. So it's costly. So this fund helps our local community. Again, part of our mission is we want to wrap our arms around our local community. And this is one of the ways in which we're doing that.
All right, let's move on to the football event that's in December. That's the NAIA Football Championship. It's going to be taking place December 21st, but it actually starts the same weekend as this basketball event leading up to the championship. And the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics National Championship is not, we're so caught up in the college football playoff and, who's in, who's out. But the teams that participate in this, they will travel for this event, and you get some pretty incredible results. Last year, I remember talking about this what was it? Kaiser, I believe was the name of the school?
Kaiser, yes, from West Palm Beach, Florida.
Okay, so I vaguely remember when I grew up in Florida driving past Kaiser. Never actually went to the campus, just driving past it every so often. I had no idea they played football.
Wow.
I had no idea that they were the 12th seed last year, and they won the whole thing.
They did.
So Cinderella still happened.
They did. Yes. So they're ranked number one right now.
Okay.
But the NAIA National Football Championship, well, the NAIA is headquartered in Kansas City, Missouri, and they are a national governing body of predominantly small private colleges and universities. They have over 250 members, 97 football programs within their membership. And so for us to be able to host this championship, I mean, we're really excited about it. But Kaiser's at number one right now.
Okay.
So we look forward to that.
Are you saying momentum actually carries over from year to year?
Momentum carries over year. And
All
for the
right.
past 3 years, we've actually had at least one team from Iowa. So
Interesting.
this will be interesting to see. Perhaps maybe there's a team coming in from Iowa that will potentially meet Kaiser. So either way, it'll be really good competition.
Very, very cool. So with this event, again, you can go to DurhamNCSports.com. Tickets are available $30. And you can also donate to the One Team, One Durham Fund as a part of this as well, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Now you say, we'll close on this. You say, doing events like this help bring in more events in the future. So what I'm curious about is there something that people might not be aware of with Durham right now? I mean, obviously you think about the Durham Bulls, you think about Duke, basketball and football. There's, you've got Central, but is there something about Durham with these events that has truly kind of helped not put it on the map? I mean, people know what Durham is, but maybe in ways that people might not realize.
Yeah. So I think that when people, particularly people who are coming from Iowa, who may have never experienced Durham before, or some of these student athletes who have never even gotten on a plane.
Okay.
Right. So Durham is just such a unique, rich, vibrant community. And we have so many assets here in Durham to showcase for everyone. You mentioned some key sports things, but with the Museum of Life and Science, the South Point, Streets of South Point, in terms of shopping, Falls Lake, if you're an outdoors person, U-Hills. So there's so many things that, people can get involved in Durham. We're such a diverse and welcoming community. And that's one of the things that we're really proud about. Last year, we had over 13 million visitors to Durham and who spent over $1 billion locally. And so that sports tourism, driving visitation to Durham is something that we really care a lot about because we want everyone to experience our wonderful city. Well,
thanks for coming in. Best of luck on the events. These are always cool. And I love the stories, especially with the football championship. Those are always like the coolest stories. We get so caught up in the big revenue sports and whatnot. There's a little bit of it's like, yes, much like high school. This is what it's about. So that's very, very cool. So best of luck. Thanks for coming through.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
We are about to take a hockey break with Mike Maniscalco, play-by-play voice of the Carolina Hurricanes.
Let's take a break. Let's take a hockey break. Brought to you by Happy and Hill.
Went to Happy and Hail earlier this week. I got my Bueno Bowl like I typically do, but I put it on the spring mix, which is fantastic. They got the hot honey chicken, which is very, very hearty and perfect for a day like today. Rainy, dreary, with that cold November rain. You can enjoy your hot honey chicken with that.
Terrible Axl Rose.
It reminds me a lot of Axl Rose.
That was better.
Is that
redeeming?
Better? Okay, fair enough. So head on over to Happy and Hail and enjoy some good eats. Download the app. So it makes it super, super easy for you to go in and out. In fact, we had some corporate champion synergy. Jared over at Two Roosters was at the North Raleigh location of Happy and Hail. I happened to be at the North Hills location of Happy Hail at the same time. Joe. Where were you?
I did my Happy Hour earlier in the week.
Good for you.
Hot honey chicken.
And it was fantastic, was it not? Was it
I
fantastic?
was pleasantly surprised.
Are you having tech issues over there?
I can hear you now.
Okay, you can hear. Okay, that's good. Speaking of hearing things, you have heard us talk about O2 Fitness.
That's fantastic.
Hell of a
radio segging.
Hell of a segue.
Look at you.
O2fitnessclubs.com is the website. Better yet, go and see the difference of O2 Fitness because it is more than a gym.
O2 Fitness, so much more than a gym.
So we're not too far from the Seaboard location here while we're hanging out at Longleaf, but they got locations all across the triangle, and they have the O2 signature. I mean, we're talking elevated fitness clubs, but it goes beyond just the equipment and the trainers and everything else. It goes about you and your wellness journey. We're talking Renew Physiotherapy. We're also talking about things like Loop Nutrition to make sure that you can hit the goals you are looking for. And of course, Joe.
Whoa, let me make sure I get this right.
Yeah.
West Ashley or James Island were huge in the O2 fitness community in South Carolina.
Did not know that.
We are. I was told to give a special shout out. West Ashley or James Island.
Okay.
O2 Fitness has you covered no matter where you are.
I'm a big
That's
fan.
what I'm telling you. I've been trying to tell you this.
I'm a big fan of that area.
It's about location.
Location matters. Those are great
If the
locations.
gym's near you, you're going to go.
Absolutely. Joe already called out my Rob Lowe home field hoodie here. Big fan of the Rob Lowe hoodie here. Big shout outs to Home Field. Use the promo code OG24 to save 15% off your order. The mystery box deal is wrapped up, but they're always coming out with new deals all the time. So be on the lookout. Head on over to homefieldapparel.com to see what they do have on a daily basis.
Maybe they'll have a deal for us January 31st.
What's January 31st?
Maybe.
Oh, are you cooking on something I'm not aware of?
No, I just know, Josh.
Okay. Fair enough.
Their Duke and Carolina stuff.
It's always fire.
I'll just admit it, even though Josh might not want me to. It's better than the state stuff. It's good.
Go to homefieldapparel.com. Use that promo code OG24. Somewhere in a Philadelphia area hotel room with the curtains down because he understands white balance, unlike me, which is why I'm super dark today on the YouTube. He is Mike Maniscalco, play-by-play voice for the not DraftKings Sports Network. Mike, how are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you, Joe. And by the way, did you used to do radio from the segues to leaving a guest on hold for 10 minutes to which I actually think, and I will take offense to Giglio here, a better Axl Rose, a better Axl Rose than current Axl Rose has performed.
They call it November rain. It's not that high.
So, you ready for a little inside baseball? You ready for a little? Well, there was two versions of Axl Rose, though. Just like there's two versions of Billy Joel.
Why are you doing Dave Matthews covers Guns N' Roses?
Because he wakes up in the morning. That's what that was. That's what that was.
Your Dave Matthews is better than your Axl Rose.
That's true. That's true. For a little inside baseball purposes, I once got a text from our mutual friend Jonathan Jones, big guy at CBS Sports these days. And he once texted me, he goes, "How do I get producers to stop calling me?"
You don't. Once you're in the pool, you're never out of it.
No. I gave him the one out because I learned this back in my producer days. R.I.P. John Clayton. I once there's this thing called the NFL Black Book. Do you remember the NFL Black Book?
Oh, God, yeah. Every league had one of them. Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
The Black Book had every number of anybody important in it, right? And I once called John Clayton and to see if I could get him on the show. And John, he's like, "How'd you get my number?" What are you having a moment over there? You okay? You okay?
Ready.
Okay. You ready? Anyway, so John's like, "How'd you get my number?" I was like, "Well, I have the NFL Black Book." He goes, "Yeah, okay, cool. I only do interviews with people that I've known." He basically told me to never call him again in the most polite way possible. I only do interviews with established relationships and ESPN hits. Otherwise, I ain't talking to you. And I went, "Cool," and I never called John Clayton again.
David Aldridge did that to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Called him after the NBA Finals. Called his hotel room because we knew where. That's when you knew where everybody was staying back then.
Like that.
And DA totally in the right, but a young producer and you got to work for your local host. And he goes, I'm like, he goes, "Do you have a tie with us?" And clearly I woke him up.
Yeah.
He goes, Do you have a tie with us? No. He goes, "Don't ever call me again. thank you, and hangs up the phone. But he didn't say thank you.
But see, now, I can just text you like, hey, Mike, let's talk some Canes, shall we?
Sure.
Here's the thing about the Carolina Hurricanes. And we talked about this a little bit earlier in the week. It goes beyond Natchez. Obviously, Natchez is the big, shiny object in the way that he is played. But this is about everything that the Canes seem to have touched, acquired, roster construction, whatever. It all seems to be paying off right now. And this is, it's like the fun feelings. I get all that stuff. But this is a really freaking difficult division that they're in. And as things have played out, I mean, hell, Alexander Ovechkin can't stop scoring goals, right? But now it went from just make the playoffs to, given how they've played, given what we've seen from the rest of the division, hey, man, the Metro absolutely is within reach for the Carolina Hurricanes as we start to approach December.
Yeah, again, this goes back to, we talked about this in the preseason, and everybody was trying to sell, are the Canes a playoff team? I'm like, did I miss something this offseason? Like, did everybody leave? Did we take a time warp to, 2013? What do we have going on here that I wasn't picking up? Now, again, as I've said, do I think that they're going to win the division? I think that they're going to be top 3. And I said it at the start. You can take the Rangers, the Devils, and the Canes and mix up the bag and go from there. But, the funny thing is, what good organizations do, especially at the pro level, they don't just go for the shiniest toy that's on the kit. They go for the pieces that fit. Good front offices identify. They talk with their coaches. They understand this is how these are the systems we play. These are the players that fit these systems. You try to find these players to fit the best way possible. And that's what you do. And look, I'm going to throw this one out, being a Minnesota Vikings fan. Everybody said the Vikings were going to have a terrible year. It was a rebuild year and all this. And Joe, not to rub it in, obvious as you're a Dolphins fan, but you're watching Brian Flores' defense that was pretty good, where he brings in Andrew Van Ginkel. And they didn't bring in any sexy names, but they brought in the right ones. And that's what the Canes have done. And every piece that they brought in either fits the system or could not wait to play for Rod Brindamore, because they all said to a man, damn, it's hard to play against this team, and man, I wish I could play like them. And now they're here, and they're all reaping the benefits of it. But, I mean, it doesn't hurt that you have Marty Natchez having a career year, who's on pace for, and I'll leave you to get to it, but something like, 2,807 points. That would be great if he could get there.
No, I think we're all in Ovechkin watch right now for him to pass Wayne Gretzky, which is a legitimate possibility, which is something I never thought would actually happen.
Yeah,
but
same.
That's another conversation as we get closer to it. All right, so we can sit here and talk about the warm fuzzies of the Carolina Hurricanes, and yes, man, they have been an absolute joy to watch. They have exceeded the expectations. I'm with you. They were a playoff team in this offseason going into the season, but I don't think anybody expected to see how good they've been, how they're cooking right now. But if you had something that would be a red flag, a concern for the Carolina Hurricanes, what would you say that is?
I hate to say this because it's not a bankable thing on the ice that you look at, but injuries. I mean, injuries are the thing that's, for me, the concern, because you can only sustain so many of them through the course of the season. But, honestly, the special teams are fine. I always get amused when I go on whatever the thing is that we used to call Twitter, and immediately there's a meltdown, like after the Utah game, and they have to overhaul the coaching staff or bring in special teams coaches. I mean, as a top 10 power play unit, the penalty kill is outstanding, but you have one loss, and believe me, I would rather have this. I would rather have the freak out than the apathy that used to be around the Carolina Hurricanes. But it kind of amuses me when people are looking at those things where just, where if I'm doing the quick math, we're not even 20 games into the season yet. Let's just calm down on everything. But the concern I do have would be injuries to this team, because, and that's, I know it's blanket for everybody, but you can only, now they're better suited than what they've been in years past to go down and call up players when injuries happen, but you just can't keep dipping down to the farm and expecting the same results. So that's the one thing that I would be concerned about right now. And you have two really key contributors out in Frederik Andersen, and that went from week to week to longer, and I don't know what that means other than what it was said. And Seth Jarvis out of the lineup right now.
What can you tell us about Freddie?
Yeah,
what I just told you. It went from week to week to now it's a much longer situation. So that's it. That's all that's been told. And anytime you are around, I look at Joe. Look at that. That's a pro right there, right in the middle of the interview, flagging down the server to get what he needs.
He needs he needs the shorty.
Well. And it also just leads to I don't know. All I can say is I can't. If the team doesn't have a date or an idea, injuries have become truly Fort Knox. So we'll see. But you know what? Spencer Martin is a really capable goalie. And this was something we talked about earlier, guys. We're going to find out if Pyotr Kochetkov can be and carry a number one goaltender's workload.
No, I just meant, obviously last year he went through a very real thing with the blood clotting. I didn't know if they were telling us if this was related to that.
No. That was one
separate
thing. Yeah, Rod was asked. This is to what he said. This has nothing to do with what happened last year.
If it's just a hockey injury, I'm not being flippant.
That's great.
Cool.
Yeah.
No.
It was a real thing for Freddie, and I know people have their opinions and this and that, but like, there's a difference between blood clotting.
Yes.
And I strained my groin.
But to Mike, to your point, that's the one. If you're gonna be fretting about the goaltender situation, I understand why people would fret about the goaltender situation. But the way I would look at it, let's look at this in a positive way. For all the conversations we've had about Kochetkov and whether or not he is the future, it's like we joke about this all the time.
Throw the puppy in the ocean, man.
Well, it's not just throwing the puppy in the ocean, but it's like, we keep getting beat by these Russian goalies. But what if we had our own Russian goalie?
Make the whole team out of Russian goalies.
Let's make the whole show out of jingles. Brilliant. So I feel like this is a real moment for Kochetkov to be like, dude, this can be your team. Take it.
Yeah, that's how I'm looking at this run right now. Like, this is that opportunity. By the way, I've heard that idea. Make the whole show jingles, or even better, why don't you talk about Tove Lo a little bit more?
The scars that Mike has, man.
I was waiting for him to react. I was like, maybe he doesn't get it.
No, he gets it.
He had that one loaded in the clip.
What if every segment was a benchmark?
Really good idea.
Yeah.
Really solid idea. Let's
all
do that.
I
And then the problem is all you have is benchmarks now. Why don't you guys think a little differently?
I don't understand.
Shameful. Do I have to think of everything for you?
What if you guys took phone calls after big events? We could do that. A whiner line, but we call it the OG Sports Phone. Nobody's ever thought of this.
Oh,
mind blown.
Wow.
I have a feeling the OG Sports Phone is going to get a workout on Thursday night with NC State and Georgia Tech. But
hang on, I'm writing that one down right here. Sports Phone complaint line.
What? I always love it's funny. Yesterday, I feel like these are back-to-back days of therapy. Yesterday, we had Andrew Carter of the News and Observer for a little man, ACC football really broke you, Andrew. Let's talk this through. Poor Giglio has to deal with me and Mike's radio scars that we just kind of
I was worried that we talked about making the whole show about Jiggles and he was just kind of checked out.
I mean, if
he's in Rittenhouse Square or whatever he's doing in Philly.
If he's at
thinking about going to the fucking cheesesteak place and he's not locked in.
He's at Angelo's.
And then all of a sudden he just hammered.
He's waiting on that pizza at Angelo's right now. He's got 90 minutes to go back. That's what he's waiting on.
Giglio, as you know, ball fake first. You get the defense going one way and then deliver the dagger.
I needed that.
Meanwhile, I see Joel Embiid getting called out for showing up late to meetings, and I thought to myself, Joe Giglio can relate. Management's mad about somebody showing up to meetings late? Oh man, Joe can relate to that one.
Hey, at least they were actually having the meetings instead of saying they were and they weren't.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
There's not enough highlights.
No.
Shorties. Buddy, come on. So the pretzels in Philly are great.
So those Amorosa rolls, right? Yeah, the sticky buns.
Everybody knows it's the Tommy DeNick's roast pork at the Reading Terminal. That's the way to go.
The Reading Terminal. Yes, I agree with you. So, and apparently the guy from DeNick's, the guy from what was it? The place
Man versus Food.
No. So apparently there's like a Philly food super group that's taking over, right?
Yep.
There's the guy from DeNix, it's the guy from Angelo's, and a guy from another spot that are going to put together like the cheesesteak to end all cheesesteaks or something.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, sure. Why not, right?
Yeah.
I saw the Flyers recently.
They weren't great, but the
no, they were better than the Penguins.
The Canes kind of played with their food the last time they saw the Flyers.
They won.
Yeah.
They did win.
Look, this is one of these games, and it's a national TV game tonight. The Flyers are going to work hard, and that's I can throw out every cliche for this, but this to me, these are the games when you find out what your team is made of, because if you go into this and just think the jerseys are going to win the game because we're better than Philly, you're gonna end up on the wrong side of the scoreboard. And then you got to go play New Jersey tomorrow, who they're trying to be like, hey, look at us, we're really in the conversation right now as one of the better teams, not just in the division but in the NHL. So tonight, I'm going to be really curious to see how the Canes play, because Philly has not always treated the Canes kindly when they play here at the Wells Fargo Center. It still should be First Union, because let's face it, the FU Center was the best name for any place ever in Philadelphia. But no, this is a game, and just to address something too, Ovies, that you brought up a little bit earlier, is like, how the Canes are fitting in. Yeah, Marty Necas is red hot. I can't dismiss it, but a lot of people are doing this hand wringing over how come Sebastian Aho isn't better. Well, one, he's a notorious slow starter, but two, I'm just perusing over his points right now. He's got 15 points in 17 games. That's where he's usually at this time. He is usually a point per game player.
I'm with you on that. I was actually having a conversation with somebody about this recently, about Sebastian Aho in particular. I'm like, he does this, he'll be fine. Joe, what's your point? If Sebastian Aho is the second best player on your team, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, I'm cleaning up my language, even though I'm multiple drinks into this.
I was gonna say, you've had a couple of margaritas, you've had Rumple Mints.
No, it's the mule. No,
oh, you've had the mule. Sorry. So you've had how many mules have you had?
Too many. Listen, I'm just gonna tell you this: if Sebastian Aho is your second best player, you're going to win the freaking Stanley Cup. Start etching the names on the cup now.
Look at you cleaning it up. If I had any complaints about non-goaltending matters, any complaints, right? And these are luxury problems for a team that has overperformed so far this season. It would be Svechnikov. That's it. And I understand that the hockey knowers will tell me that Svechnikov is doing a lot of things on the ice that don't necessarily show up on the scoreboard. That's the kind of language or the kind of talk I expect out of a Jordan Staal, right? A crusty old vet, the freaking horse, wins your face-offs, all that stuff. If he scores, it's a luxury, but he's doing all those other things. Svechnikov was brought here specifically to be one of these guys, one of these finishers, the thing that the Canes really have lacked when we get to postseason play. And I get there's been injury issues there. I get all that stuff, but I need Svechnikov to score more. That's my only thing right now.
No, and look, I think that as we joked and you guys brought up, the Russian goalie thing.
Yeah,
it's everybody thinks that a Russian player who comes over here is going to score 500 goals.
Why can't he be Ovechkin? Why can't he be Ovechkin, Mike?
And I go back to his rookie year, and I asked him, and he was really just getting a handle on English, even though he'd been here for a little bit. Like, who does your game compare to in the NHL? And it's funny because it was his teammate last year. He said his game was close to Evgeny Kuznetsov, meaning he was more of a playmaker than a finisher. He just happened to score a metric ton of goals in junior. And, I look right now, he's on pace to have his best statistical season ever if he keeps this up. But I hear the complaints, and I just think for me, this is a guy who I think the expectation was one thing, and he can still be that. I mean, he should be a guy who I think in my book is around 35 or 40 a year. I really believe that because he's that old school power forward.
Yeah. It's November 20th, No.
Do you know who Svech is? It's Cooper Flag.
Oh.
Okay. No, there it is. SEO that, baby. Andrei Svechnikov is Cooper Flag.
He's not going to be who you want him to be. He's going to help you win.
He's going to help you win.
Yeah. And right now, that's the thing for me is he's going to help you win. And also when we go down this list, you've got to tie him and Sebastian Aho together here at the start of the year because they've been line mates. So, that's once Aho's production picks up, the goal scoring for Andrei Svechnikov will pick up as well. And, look, I will say this to try to offset how come we don't have more goals out of Andrei Svechnikov? Raise your hand if you thought that Jack Roslovic was going to have 9 goals at this point in the season, or 9 goals in the season. It's what he had all of last year.
Right. Yeah, he is overperformed. I know Robinson, which is something that Tom wrote about today on OG Fans, is another bright spot as well. So plenty of things to talk about, but it's early.
Yeah,
it's still early.
And I go back to Ovies' point. If you are moving guys down a notch who you thought this should be the best player, that just means that things are going well for this team. Yeah. And the top 3 guys, the guys who drive the team, are doing what they're supposed to be doing right now. Maybe just not to the clip that everybody wants them to, but that just means somewhere down the line, because I've seen it with Aho every season. And I'm banking on it with Andrei Svechnikov that we'll see it this year too, that they're going to take their game to the levels where we expect them to be at.
Mike,
let me ask Mike one question before we let him go.
Sure.
Yeah.
Tortorella is like an amoeba. We don't know. But when I saw them here in Raleigh, I saw a team that I thought they want to play like the Canes. You think Tortorella has massive respect for Rod?
Oh, tons. He actually just said it at his press conference this morning.
Good.
Yeah, to your exact point, he said, we want to play. Basically, he said, somebody asked him, are the Canes the blueprint that you want your team to play like? And he didn't hesitate. He said, yes, but they're faster than us. And he goes, that's how we want to play. That's what we want to get to. And he then went and complimented the whole organization. He talked about, it's why you got to draft, identify the players you have, and go from there. But he has, and that is a two-way street, by the way, because Rod has a ton of respect for Torts and John Tortorella. We've all seen him versus the media, but he is one of these guys truly, and I don't want to do the behind closed doors.
Yeah,
I think the perception of John is not the reality of him, but he is a hell of a coach, and he wants to get the Flyers to play like the Canes.
But it says a lot for Rod.
Oh, a ton.
As I suspected, watching them play in Raleigh, I go, and that was the game I walked away and I said, the real next Coach K, the real next Dean Smith is Rod Brindamore. We're looking around trying to find him here in the triangle, but the truth is, it's been Rod all along.
Yeah, he's coaching the hockey team. I mean, it's just not where you expected, not where you expect to find him. Yeah.
No, he's got to win a few things. I get that.
Yeah.
But I could sense that from Philly in the way that they were playing that game, the respect. And every time I go into a visiting locker room, they all say the same thing.
Yep.
This team in this building, they're the hardest team to play.
Yeah.
And they work so hard.
Yep.
The respect that every team has for the way that they play. This is not a super talented team in the Canes. It's not.
Yeah.
But they play their fucking ass off.
And to kind of back that one up, when a guy who has won a Stanley Cup says he wants his team to play like this coach's team, that's pretty good.
Hey guys, I hate to break up this conversation. Giglio's feeling it after a few mules and shorties and whatnot. But I gotta go pick up my kid from school. So it's time.
It's time.
Closing time.
It's closing time.
Closing time.
I gotta. No, we still have like one more ad break to run too. But I gotta go to Enloe to go get my kid. So
it's right there. It's down the street.
Right, but
tell your kid to get his license. By the way,
well, dude, don't get me.
Goddamn.
Do not get me started on the fact that I'm gonna turn 17 in April, and this kid still is like, do you want a car for Christmas? I don't know. Like, can you go back in time, Mike? Go back in time. All right. And
you want to give me a car now? I'll take it.
Right. Respect to the OG Mr. Maniscalco, man. But like, if your dad came to you while you were 16 and says, "Hey, I want to give you a car. I'm going to go to Heaster right now, and I'm going to get you a car," what would your reaction be?
I would have thought that Invasion of the Body Snatchers truly happened, because what happened to my dad? I would have crawled on hands and knees across broken glass to get there to get the car.
Right. I did not care that I was getting the craptacular 1991 Mercury Cougar. Okay? I didn't care. I did not care because I was getting a freaking car. I am trying to tell my 16-year-old, buddy, Let's get the freaking license. I will.
Brah.
Literally, our guy Bennett's has a pristine 2015 Honda Fit with your name on it. Okay.
What?
Dude, this car is pristine.
Hey, you can sell your car or buy one from Heister Auto.
Pristine Honda.
Get your Teester to Heister,
Right.
Ovies' son. What's going on?
And he's like, I'm like,
Rhinestone Cowboys on now, by the way.
I'm out of here.
kids, these kids today.
On that note, these Utes. All right, Mike. We'll talk to you later, man.
You got it, guys. Bye
All
bye.
right, later. From Mike, if Ovies is giving away cars, I'll take one. No,
No,
no, it's
for
not,
you,
it's not for
Mike.
you.
for the fruit of his loins.
And yes, I am going grandpa here. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah, I got to go get my kid. But you know what? We got to talk about Breeze Through first. Go to breezethrough.com.
We'll be there tomorrow.
We will be there tomorrow.
We're live to tape tomorrow.
Dude, I'm up for whatever. I'm fine for the fun and frivolity of going live from a beer cave tomorrow at 10 a.m. What do you want to do?
Will there be rumple mints?
I mean, you can crack open a case while you're in the beer cave, right? Hopefully the lighting for me will be better. I'll wear something dark, so I won't have that issue. It's the issue is I'm wearing the home field, the tan home field. Anyway, go to Breeze Through and see us tomorrow. We're going to be there starting at 10 o'clock as they reopen the pool, a grand reopening. It's already open, but it's a grand reopening celebration for the Pool Road location. And we'll be there freezing our butts off in the beer cave. It should be a lot of fun. Big thanks to the Butcher's Market. We've been talking a lot about catering. Butcher's Market, they can cater your next event, your business event, your work event, or just, you don't feel like cooking. That's fine. They can do it for you. Head on over to thebutchersmarkets.com. And because we've been talking about dealing with family, well, that's where Nature's Relief comes in. Go to naturesreliefhemstore.com. You can go in there and you can say, hey, look, I got family coming through or I'm visiting family. I want to be chill and functional. I don't want to melt into the couch. And they'll be like, we got just the thing.
And come see us. 12:15.
Yes.
The official OG tailgate brought to you by Nature's Relief.
This is true. All right. Go to naturesreliefhemstore.com. From Paul, the Founders Club still needs gifts. A car would be pretty sweet. No. We do have some stuff that we're working on, though. So be on the lookout for that. Sorry, we're slow. That's going to wrap it up for today's edition of Ovies and Giglio.